What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pazza Podcast. My name is Travis. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. But the most important thing today, and the most important thing all season, Inter, huge victory away at Bergamo against Atalanta, 2-0, 3 points lead ahead of Napoli now going into the international break. Could it be a better weekend than what we had this weekend as Inter fans? An absolutely clinical and professional performance from the Nerazzurri. Just got done listening to Mike Grella on Paramount, and he was trying to say that there was no separation between Inter and Atalanta. It was a pretty even match. I don't know what he was watching. Inter professionally dominated the match, led by a man of the match performance from Francesco Acerbi, putting Retegui in his pocket alongside of the list of strikers are endless, from Holland to Morata to anybody you can think of. Retegui is just in there next to them in Acerbi's pocket. And yeah, we're going into this international break 3 points ahead. It's absolutely wonderful. It was an intense match, to say the least, but the better team won, and Inter showed every bit of the class and professionalism that we have missed in a lot of big games this year and that we've been calling for. It was just a very great match. Simone owns Gasparini. It's official. I got to go into some of the points of this match, but I just want to brag and keep toasting and cheersing to the great news. It was unbelievable match. The feeling of elation should be ever present in every Nerazzurri supporter. Man, this has been a title race. Let's save the thoughts till the end. Let's get into the match. Started with a pretty strong lineup. Sommer back in goal. We had Pavard, Acerbi, Bastoni, the back line, Dumfries, Barella, Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan, and Carlos Augusto in that midfield five. Lautaro and Thuram up top. So pretty much the strongest midfield five we could, the strongest starting 11 that we could start, minus Di Marco, who's out for injury. One thing of note, Atalanta started with Pasalic in that number 10 kind of behind the striker role, which if you remember in that first match on the podcast when we played them, I noted how interesting it was that Gasparini chose to play Pasalic in like kind of a reserved holding midfielder role. They were decimated with injuries in that first match, but it was interesting to see him do that versus a Pasalic who was definitely more effective, which we saw in that first half, closer to goal. And the first half couldn't have started better. Thuram, I think, had a great first 15, 20 minutes, was our liveliest player on the pitch, maybe alongside Bastoni, who was also very lively in that first half. But Thuram was definitely very threatening. And then the seventh minute was...
We're post FC. We've hit the post since that Milan match where we hit it 3 times. We've probably hit it at least another 7 times.
In that build-up, or in the last, 10 games since
the Milan match. It seems like we are officially post FC now, which as long
as it doesn't screw us the rest of the season and we still remain clinical, I'm fine with that. But Thuram had to put that away. Luckily, it didn't affect us. It was a great touch by Lautaro to find Thuram streaking from that midfield position. Hien was just out of position or maybe late to react to Thuram's movement. It was a great touch by Lautaro. Thuram did everything right other than finish the ball. And it's another one that we've hit inside of the post, which usually those bounce back into the goal. Unlucky. Like I said, it didn't affect the outcome of the match, but it's one you would like to see Thuram put away. In the 12th minute, Thuram, he was driving. He should have found maybe Lautaro Martinez, who looked like he was drifting and open. But Thuram was definitely our most dangerous player in the first 15 minutes, first half offensively. He looked very up to the match, like the injury was behind him. 18th minute, though, Atalanta showed maybe a little bit of threat to the match. It was really the only threat that they had the whole game. It seemed like Sommer made a great save. Derun, great ball in. Pasalic stepped a little quicker to the ball from that cross from Derun in front of Bastoni, a little quicker to react than Bastoni was. Great header. Jan Sommer had a quick reflection or reaction save, tip over the ball bar, and that was really the only moment that Sommer had to make. That was a big save, but it was a little worrying, and that's kind of what I was trying to mention in that first match. Pasalic is a player that needs to be closer to goal, and we could see that there. He really at that point had an impact based off, he can get into those positions. He's taller, and he can make a difference as far as crosses coming in. He's got a good eye for goal, and it was a great save by Sommer. That was really the only save, though. I would think the big save that he had to make. Uh, I would say in the first half, we looked a little slow the rest of the half. There wasn't much more after that in the first half that you could really say was threatening. For me, I think Pavard and Barella and Dumfries all looked a little off the pace of the match. Pavard and Dumfries for sure. When I looked at the lineups going into it, I thought maybe we'd have a field day going on that right side with the form that Dumfries is in, Pavard being behind him, Barella on the right side, going against Kolasinac and Zappacosta on their left side, or going down our right side. Didn't really work out that way, um, which is kind of concerning. I think Dumfries, he's played probably the last 2 months the most out of anybody for Inter. So he definitely, looked tired in the first half, had to come off injury in the second half. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But first half 0-0, I think we had the best chance. Atalanta did have that chance, but we looked more threatening going forward. Bastoni looked brilliant going forward as well. He was always looking for a ball over the top, threatening. Thuram was threatening, and yeah, first half I think we were the better team and probably the happier of the two, even though it was 0-0. I would another one of my halves or thoughts. Thuram, Bastoni, Acerbi looked great. Acerbi was fantastic this match. We'll talk about that later. Post FC again. I mentioned I didn't think we needed any changes, and he didn't make any changes at half, which was nice. I did say, is this a Correa game? Because it looked like maybe we needed someone to kind of settle in there in the midfield. Maybe Davide Fratesi to burst from that midfield, kind of like Thuram did for that chance. But I think at that point, our 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 lineup looked good, and we didn't need to make any changes. I said Lautaro needs to receive the ball closer to goal. We needed him more of a threat closer to goal, which second half showed its face and showed why we needed that. And set pieces, I knew set pieces were going to be big. I have it right here written down. First half thoughts, if you can read it. Set pieces, the last one. So Lautaro, set pieces, halftime thoughts, and getting into the second half. Let's talk about that. Second half, 54th minute, goal. This came after a lengthy delay. I think it was about 6 or 7 minutes in the stands. Çalhanoğlu going towards the corner. I think this was about the 46th minute, 47th minute. Noticed an Inter fan in the intersection, needed some medical attention. Looks like a paramedic climbed over the glass pretty quickly, and they got over to him rather quickly. This is just right after the post match. I haven't heard anything over if he's fine or not. Please, hopefully, the Inter fan is all right. All thoughts going out to the Nerazzurri supporter. Hopefully, he's okay. But after the delay, our Lord Arnautovic, the man that I've been praising for 4 months, the guy who is my favorite player on this team, other than the big heavy hitters, Bastoni, Lautaro, Barella, Di Marco, all these players. Arnautovic, for me, the last 2 months has been absolutely great. I called this 3 months ago. If you want to go back and listen, I'm like a proud parent right now. Arnautovic, if you watch right before the corner is taken, goes over to Çalhanoğlu, whispers something in his ear, backs off a little bit, and lo and behold, a beautiful ball in from Çalhanoğlu finds a wide open Carlos Augusto, and Inter up 1-0 after that lengthy delay, and it was incredible. It was after that you could just feel it. It was there was no way Atalanta was getting back in this match. Something I didn't say about my halftime thoughts. Lukman was very dangerous, had Pavard on his back foot, megged him one time. He was looking really good. And there were some times that, he was moving. He had a shot that went terribly, but he was the threat in the first half for Atalanta. But this goal pretty much killed off any momentum Atalanta would have had and did have coming out of the half. It was pretty much the nail in the coffin, it seemed like, after this. 57th minute, it was another corner on the other side from Çalhanoğlu, and it was a brilliant corner across again. Karnisecki for Atalanta was left flapping in the wind. No one got a touch. I think Thuram was the closest. No one got a touch. Karnisecki missed the ball. It could have been 2-0, literally back-to-back corners. The set pieces, like I said at halftime, that was going to be important. Whether Atalanta, who looked pretty dangerous in the first half from set pieces, was going to be impacting, or us, who we know we are pretty impactful off set pieces. So yeah, set pieces were huge. 62nd minute, Mkhitaryan, who I've been very critical on, I want to give him a shout out. Anytime someone I'm critical of, I also want to praise them whenever they do well. 62nd minute, Mkhitaryan, he had a brilliant block, and then the ball bounced out. He jumped over Zappacosta to win the ball back off of a header, and I think he drew the foul after that. It was brilliant play by Mkhitaryan. That kind of play is maybe why Inzaghi plays him week in and week out. So maybe that's the stuff that we don't see that all these people are saying. I don't know. But it was brilliant. Gotta give a shout out to Mkhitaryan. 66th minute, though, a bit of unfortune. He'd gone down a time before that. Finally decided to pull him off Inzaghi. Denzel Dumfries with a hamstring problem. Hopefully we're just pulling like an Arsenal, and some of our players were telling maybe to get hurt, and so they don't have to go for international break. I'm playing, but it, he said he didn't want to come off. Inzaghi, being the precautionary person he is, put Bisek in as right wing back instead. So we'll see. I haven't seen any news. Like I said, this is immediately after the match. Something to keep an eye on how long Dumfries, if at all, is out. 71st minute, Lautaro scores, and it was a Lauti goal. Brilliant, but called back due to a foul on Jimsiti that they called on Lautaro. Was it soft? Yes. But Lautaro, he did not even look for the ball when the ball was in the air. He went straight and looked straight at Jimsiti, bumped him. Jimsiti made a meal of it, yes, but it's soft, but it was a foul. I think it was the right call there by Davide Mazza, who I don't think had a great game. I think in the first half in particular, there was a lot of times the Inter players were getting mugged, kind of like the Napoli first half and whole game. They weren't calling that. And Inter players were definitely getting mugged in the first half, and he wasn't calling it. And there was a couple of times he called it for Atalanta, soft fouls. And then in the second half, he was very giving yellow cards for something that he wasn't giving it to on the other opposite side. It was very weird. Um, so yeah, Matza, I don't know if he had a great game or not, and we'll talk about him a little more. 75th minute, Davide Fratesi comes on for Mkhitaryan. I think Mkhitaryan had a great performance. First 10 minutes or so of the match, he looked shaky, but he grew into the game, and I think it was an important part, an integral figure of the match. 76th minute, Pavard, he had a great double. I think he struggled a lot in this match, especially in the first half. Second half, he zipped it up. Professional performance, 76th minute, a great double tackle to save maybe a little bit of momentum that was switching towards Atalanta. And this was right before, in the 77th minute, Francesco Acerbi, again, my man of the match, a brilliant last-ditch tackle on Samardžić, fuck Samardžić for that debacle last summer, committing to Inter and then backing out at the last minute. And Acerbi, professionally, get out of here. It was incredible. It was in the box too, so if it was any later or anything like that, didn't get contact on the ball, it would have been a penalty for Atalanta and could have changed the match. But we don't doubt Grandpa Acerbi. He is rolling back the years after this injury, and it's really great to see. And then in the 81st minute, what we'll probably see in the headlines in Italy tomorrow, maybe even this evening, controversial is what they'll say. I'm going to give you why it's not controversial. Ederson red card. I think he wasn't lashing out at the referee for Thuram's pressure on him. I think he was lashing out at the referee for Thuram, maybe the foul that he should have called on Hien right before Ederson stepped in. That one may be likely, but Ederson's got to keep his composure. He gets the initial yellow after he kicks it out for a corner for maybe making contact to the referee. I don't really remember. I have to see the highlight or whatever with the referee, which it was a yellow for dissent, and then turns around and claps sarcastically in his face. Another yellow, straight red. And before anybody says that's soft, Mike Grella just said it. Oh, it's a big game, but soft. Let me take you back to January 2010. Wesley Sneijder in the Milano Derby got sent off for the exact same thing in the 26th minute, I believe it was. It was early in the match, the triplete season for Inter, the Derby di Milano. Wesley Sneijder, I forget what exactly transpired. I think it was a foul that wasn't called. Schneider went off on the referee, got a yellow for dissent, and you could see the video of him doing this right after in slow motion, famously, and getting sent off immediately after. So if it was a red card 15 years ago in the Serie A, it's a red card today. Ederson, you've got to keep your composure there. I don't think there should be any complaints. I'm sure, like I said, we will see tomorrow the headlines for Tutto and uh, Corriere dello Sport and all these other anti-Inter propaganda newspapers calling for the Serie A's fixed, Marotta League, whatever. But it's a red card. We've seen it time and time again. I think Juve even got one a few years ago for a sarcastic clap. So I mean, there's a precedence that's there, and so it has to be a red card. And that essentially, if it wasn't killed off, then it was killed off maybe, what was it, 6 minutes later, or it definitely was killed off 6 minutes later by our Capitano, Lautaro Martinez. Got the goal in the 87th minute to put the nail in the coffin. And it was a brilliant goal. I think Carnesecchi should have done better. He had the angle. I don't know why he didn't make the save. Maybe it was the pace that Lautaro put on it. Played through by Barella. It was a great win back. I think Lautaro got tackled. Bisek found it to Barella, who played a great ball through to Lautaro in the box. Tight angle by Lautaro, but the pace put it past Carnesecchi, and Inter up 2-0, pretty much. Or that's game over at that point. Down or up a man, game over. Davide Fratesi, I had mentioned at halftime he needs to come on, be an impact. Should have put the nail even more in the coffin to make it 3-0. Had a wide open goal. Chose shooting it to the left when it looked like the right was the more wide open answer. Carnesecchi, great save again, but Fratesi had to make that 3-0. It would have been a Lautaro assist. Maybe that would have changed me for Lautaro to be man of the match, but Fratesi, come on, you got to put that away. That's day one preschool stuff. That's elementary school kid puts that stuff away. That's unacceptable, unexcusable. I don't care if you are checked out. You've got to score that. 92nd minute, Bastoni barely missed. He had a great chance in the box. It looked like it was going in lifetime, so good. But then 2 minutes later, Bastoni, he'd gotten a yellow early for professional tactical foul on, I want to say it was maybe Maldini. And then again, goes in. He's going for the ball, but you're up 2-0, up a man. You don't need a goal. Yes, if you intercept it, we're on the counter. I don't like that he went in there. It was a great step in front by Maldini. Soft yet again, maybe, but it was a second foul. He had fouled a couple times after his yellow card too. He pretty much left the ref with no choice there. I think it was a just red card. According to rumors, I believe that puts him out for not only the next match against Udinese, but the match after that for Parma due to yellow card accumulation and getting a red. We'll see. This is just what I saw initially coming out. But ref, after that, nothing real of note. Ref blew the whistle 3 times and Inter collects all 3 points. We soar above 3 points to the league table in first place, 3 points above Napoli, 6 above Atalanta. I think maybe, I don't know who's in fourth place. It's either Lazio, Juve, or Bologna. But this is what we needed, especially with what's coming up in the next couple match days, which we'll talk on in a second. But let's get to the final match thoughts. Francesco Acerbi, my man of the match. Absolutely brilliant defensive performance. Some people might say Lautaro because he got the goal. Some people might say Carlos Augusto for the goal. It's got to be Acerbi, in my opinion. He was absolutely colossal and the difference maker, it seems like. So Shout out to Francesco Acerbi, my man of the match. Lautaro, captain, oh my captain. That's what we want. He pulled out, even when he didn't play his best first half, he was kind of invisible. Other than that brilliant pass to Turam. Second half, he was battling hard, but still wasn't all the way there. But it doesn't matter. He gets goals when we need it. People criticize him for not having big game goals. Here's your big game goal. What's more big than this? A decisive title match goal. I think that brings him to double digits in Serie A with 10. Um, I think that's every season he's been with Inter. Maybe barring his first, he's put double digit goals in the Serie A. He's our captain. It's so awesome to have a captain like him. Argentinian too, with that grinta and all that Zanetti kind of brought as well. It's great to see. I love Lautaro Martinez. He's becoming one of my favorite Inter players of all time, and I hope he's becoming you Nerazzurri supporters one of your favorite players of all time too. I think Carlos Augusto, Çalhanoğlu, Bastoni, Thuram were also huge in this match. Pavard and Barella. Barella got the assist for Lautaro. I think he grew into the match in the second half. I don't think he was there in the first half. Same with Pavard. I think in the first half he was very poor, but he grew into the match the second half. Another big point, Inzaghi is Gasparini's father. It's 8 wins in a row. I think I heard on the telecast. We officially own Atalanta. So awesome. And Inzaghi owns Gasparini. Gasparini got a red card, crybaby. I'm sure we'll hear in his post-match something too, how unjust this match was. He cries after every match. I mean, he's just a terrible post-match person. Lukman, he pretty much threw Lukman under the bus, their exit for the Champions League. We'll see. It's going to be comical nonetheless. Red cards, I mentioned it earlier. I think Ederson's was just. I think Bastoni's was just. No real controversy there. The only controversy I think was Davide Mazza, just his overall game flow and call. It never really felt like he was reading the game. He was just calling whatever at that point that he thought. Very inconsistent, especially with some cards, I think, too. Yellow cards in the second half, as far as what was a yellow card for one person that wasn't for another, and what was a foul for one person wasn't for another. But I think he got the red cards right. So the last thing we're going to mention on this podcast before we wrap it up, international break coming up. We do have some injuries that I think is preventing some players. We'll see if Dumfries actually goes with the Netherlands squad. Thuram is going with France, but hopefully he doesn't play that much. Deschamps, hopefully. I don't think Pavard got called up. Lautaro, he actually made a look towards, very slightly I saw it before he got subbed out about hamstring. So we'll see what the news is about that. He's going to Argentina. De Vrij, I don't think got called up or I think he did, but I think they're going to rescind that because he's still not healthy. DiMarco isn't getting called up. Zalewski did get called up, though, which kind of sucks for Poland. But we'll see. We'll see how the international break goes. Next three matches for us, we have Udinese Udinese, Parma, and then Cagliari. Should be 9 points coming from that. Should be. This is Forza Inter, though, so we never know. But hopefully we get 9 points from that. One game I think will be the biggest test will be Cagliari. Davide Nicola, who we're going to talk about him, or we've talked about him on this podcast in the early days. Whenever he's close to that relegation zone, he is an expert, and we've seen it the past 3 seasons in Serie A. He's a relegation zone expert. He gets the most out of his teams in these things, and Cagliari is very close to that zone. So we'll see. That could be a tough one, a one to look out for us moving forward. But I think we should get 9 points out of those three matches. Napoli have a very tough schedule the next three matches. Milan, Bologna, Empoli. Empoli is not the Empoli of the beginning of the season, but they still beat Juve in the Coppa Italia. So we'll see. I think, best case scenario, Milan and Bologna take away points from Napoli, and we get all points against Udinese and Parma, and we're up going into mid-April, 6 to 9 points. And I think at that point, if we are up that much points mid-April, it's tough to see us not winning our 21st Scudetti. As Inter supporters, it would be one of the more stressful Scudettos in recent memory. But I've said it time and time again. Not every season is like the last two seasons, Napoli and us running away. There are always Scudetto races. So hopefully we button up, get maximum results the next three matches, and Napoli slips even further. It's a great day to be an Inter supporter, guys. If you guys want a Pazza Podcast sticker, please let me know in the comments. Again, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever, share. All the support means a lot. I will probably not be posting that much moving forward. I'm actually going to Italy on Friday. So I will be in Italy for the next 2 weeks, going to the Inter versus Udinese match. It's my first Inter match at the San Siro. I'm pretty excited. And what a match to go to. There's a lot on the line here. So Forza Inter. I'm really excited to go to the match. If anybody's going to the match, please comment. If you have any suggestions on what to do before the match or after the match or match day, whatever, let me know in the comments. I would love all suggestions to know what we're doing. I might actually get to go on the pitch. Uh, we'll see. There's talks that I might be going on the pitch to wave a flag, so we'll see. That would be huge. But yeah, give me some comments, some recommendations. We'd love to hear. Even we're going to uh, Urse, Verona, Milan, Firenze, and Roma. So let me know in the comments any suggestions you guys have in any of those places. Open ears for anything. And for finally, Forza Inter, let's win this Scudetto, guys. Come on. We got this. Appreciate all the support. Might post some Calcio and Herald Legends, but we'll see. As always, Forza Inter, guys.